Okay, so we have another joint from those good people over at Signature. Right, so today I've just checked out Kindling. Right, this is the feature directorial debut from Connor O'Hara, who also wrote film. It is produced by Mark Foligno, Jamie Gamache, and it is executive produced by Rachel Warren, Carl Shepard, um, O'Hara as well, Norman Merry, Terry Loveday, Andrew Loveday, Laura, um, so Dominic Iano, Mike Houghton, Peter Hampton, Sarah Donnelly, and David Brearley. It is line produced by Laura Jackson and Craig Chewy. Harry Brokenshaw is on music, David Wright, cinematography, Sarah Peckex edits the piece, Alex Johnson, casting, Declan Price, production design, art direction is Beck Whelpdale, Libby Irvin is on costume design. Hair and makeup, we have Jodie Collins and Elizabeth Hart. And our cast. Well, we have got Sid, played by George Sommer. His best friend, Diggs, is played by Wilson Mbomio. His other friends, Dribble, is played by Conrad Khan. We have Plod, played by Rory J Saper. Wolfie, played by Kaine Zajaz. And his dad is played by Jeff Bell. His mum, Tara Fitzgerald. And Lily is played by Mia McKenna-Bruce. We've also got Mia, played by Hattie Gottabed, Jess, played by Ocean Navarro, Judith, played by Jill Stamford, and Lily's friend is played by Noor Lila. The gist of the film is, right, it's inspired by true events and follows a group of young men who return to their hometown to turn their friend Sid's final summer into a celebration of life, love, and friendship. Facing morality, Sid wants to create a legacy and be remembered forever. With his obsession for astronomy and the atmosphere, he comes up with a plan to bring everyone together and make this summer unforgettable. He gives each boy a category: love, home, friends, family, and location, and asks them to find an item that connects them all with the word they've been given. That week, they'll build a fire to burn the items they collect, a ritual that Sid believes will make him last forever. Without realizing it, it might not be the ritual that makes Sid last forever, but the way in which he has deeply affected those around him in this time. Okay, so that's the gist of the film. And yeah, old Connor has a statement about the film, right? Says this: when I was 21, I lost two friends within 2 days of each other. It was shocking, agonizing, unfathomable. United in our loss, the five of us remaining dealt with our journey of grief together. Seeing how my friends responded to this loss, I wanted to make a film that encapsulated that experience of grief and represented young men on screen in a new light. We made a short film called Infinite, starring George McKay as a proof of concept for Kindling. For me and my friends, grief nurtured within us in a quiet peace. It showed us that light could be found at the very heart of the tunnel, not merely at its end. With Kindling, my goal was to explore grief not as a horror story, but a period of immortalizing happy memories of life. I wanted to make a happy film about death, a heartwarming tale of grief. Unlike the characters in this film, I never got the chance to say goodbye to my friends. While in post production on Kindling, loss came to my friendship group once more with the passing of another of our own in December 2021, one on whom the character Plod is based. But once again, as I made my way through the unforgotten feelings of sorrow and sadness, my path stumbled across that familiar sense of hope and resilience, inspiring me to complete the film and reconnect with my initial purpose for writing it. I cathartically processed the grief of my friend through the completion of the film, knowing it will forever show our childhood and our love for each other to the world. Kindling is my love letter to those I've lost and continue to love. While it was inspired by my own experience, it is ultimately a celebration of the human spirit. And as such, I have every hope it will resonate with you and audiences beyond. So, yeah, that's Kindling. Now, I will say for a first feature, this is a very solid effort. You know what I mean? I think it definitely does a nice job of, I think, showing friendship, right? It definitely, you do feel like this group are friends, so I thought it did a really good job in that. It's, it does suffer a little bit from that Dawson's Creek effect in the regard that people speak the same. People very much speak the same, and I a lot of the conversation didn't really feel real, right? I mean, they felt real, like they were real conversations. Don't get me wrong, but it's like the choice of words. Now, I understand why the choice of words were used, right? Because you're trying to encapsulate certain feelings, certain thoughts. You want this thing to appear in a certain way, but you run the course sometimes when you do these things of making it sound a little too formal, right? A little too polished. When you've got kids, well, I mean, let's say young adults, and you know what I mean? Look, you've experienced some stuff, you've done some stuff, but yeah, I mean, there's words and terms and things you use, right? You don't know everything, so you're not kind of trying to be a philosopher all the time. Now, one person, two people maybe in the group could be like that. Not everyone, you know what I mean? And that is one of the things that you get everyone talking in this way. It's like with the fire, you understand what it is, right? But I'd have thought in this kind of situation, people might be going, oh, or like a pharaoh who was buried with stuff, or even like Saxons would be buried with the stuff, right? I forget what those mounds are called. Frack, you know? Mm, shit, it's in Lord of the Rings, right? I think they mentioned the word in Lord of the Rings, but Khans, I think it's Khans, right? That's what they would be buried in rather than pyramids. But yeah, people would be buried with items because it's like you can take this on with you. So like no one brings that up, and there's certain things that you think, oh well, that could have been that, right? But then also it's like when it's, oh, I want to create this thing so you all remember me. I'm like, someone is gonna be like, how could we ever forget you? Right? You're one of our best friends. Like, we'll always remember you. And then you can get into, because it's just like when you talk to people, it's be like, oh shit, do you remember the time we went to this thing, or the time we did this thing? They mention that a little bit, some like in one part of the film. There's a little, oh yeah, when we were kids, we did this. But it's just like, if you're trying to create something as a memory, right? And this is like, well, this is the thing that you'll be able to always remember me by. Like, so, I feel someone's going to be like, yo, we don't necessarily need this. We can do it, but you know what I mean? There's so many things we will remember you by, right? So that, with things like that, you have like Sid and Lily, which in a way, look, you can understand, but when you see Sid with his friends, a lot of them aren't mollycoddling him, So again, I think certain things probably needed to be shown in slightly a different way to make that point more, you know, right? I think you need to do that. And then also just that whole friendship, because like she's like, oh, I really like this band, which then now seems to be Sid's favorite band. And it's just like, all right, listen, I understand. Someone has said this one thing to you, which you then think there'd be this conversation about music and be like, oh man, have you heard this band? Or, oh, they really remind me of these people. But then all he's playing is this one band. Like, he's never listened to music before. Now, that would work if the character was like, I don't really like music, right? I've never really found anyone that I really like. Then, you know what I mean? Just going all in on one band, you'd be like, okay, I can get that then. But without that, it does seem a little, surely he listens to other stuff as well, right? That was just the thing with that. It's just like, well, there must be other people you listen to. Like, this isn't it, you know? Right? The club the whole club thing. Again, it's that problem with clubs in films and TV where it's just not as full as it would be. You know what I mean? Like, you're showing the scene and it's just like, all right, come on. There's never that amount of space, right? Never that amount of space. And the chance of seeing someone through a crowd, no. No, 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 no. Like, you could bump into someone going to the cloakroom, the toilets, the bar, something like that. But seeing someone through a crowd in the fucking dark, come on. Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? Woo! But listen, it's not like these are just points, right? These are just things that kind of you notice while watching a film, right? A bit like Sid's stubble never changes throughout, right? For someone that's meant to be ill as well, doesn't necessarily look that ill. Doesn't really look that ill. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I feel you need to do more to do that, right? And then show, because like your energy drops. You know what I mean? There'll be times when everything is cool and then suddenly you're just hit with fatigue, right? So there's certain things which I feel need to be there for the character, like there's always this, oh, 10 p.m.'s the curfew, but why? You know what I mean? That doesn't really make any sense. There's certain things which could have been, you know what I mean, just portrayed slightly sharper, but that isn't taking away from this is a film that like has a really nice sentiment to it. You know what I mean? It is definitely that, right? So I think all involved definitely should be proud of what they've done. Definitely should be proud. And especially, as I said, look, for a first feature, it's a real solid piece. And, pure of heart and spirit. So that's like, you know, I mean, when you're trying to make something to um commemorate, commemorate. What's the motherfucking word? Commemorate. I feel that's it, right? Commemorate your friends, um, and this moment in time. It can be difficult, but this kind of does do that thing. So, I mean, regardless of all those other little bits and bobs, this is this is a lovely job. It's a lovely job. It's something that you could watch with your family. Yeah, I mean, like little kids of a young age, it can be a nice way to start a conversation about this stuff, you know? So I think it works in those regards. Um, you can watch it via, VOD, or you can go to the cinema and check it out, right? And yeah, I think Kindling can definitely be a spark to a greater conversation. You know what I mean? So listen, I think everyone experienced grief and all of that in different ways. So, you know, although there's, I think the everyone in this film is of an age where someone has probably died. Someone has probably died. And we always, we know Diggs' dad's dead, right? So you've gone through this, you've experienced this, you know what this is. So you're going to remember people in certain ways, right? You know how that hit you. Now, it does hit you in different ways at different times and with different people, but it's about having this understanding on what death is. You know what I mean? But I will say, if you liked Blackbird, right? That was who was Susan Sarandon was in that film, right? I think it was from 2019, maybe 2018, London Film Festival. We spoke about it. Uh, this did remind me of that, because there have been films with people and you're dealing with death and you're talking about, sending someone off and all of this kind of thing. But yeah, if you like Blackbird, I think this will, what I mean? This will sit very well with you. So yes, Kindling is now out, cinema or VDD, right? Well, it will be out tomorrow, Friday. So, yeah, people, if it sounds like it's for you, go check it out.